Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the BeBalanced Pismo Beach podcast. We are so excited to have a wonderful guest on here this morning. I have Miss Shanna Ferrigno here, and she has just gone through the BeBalanced program, and we're going to just be hearing what her experience was and just all of the other things that she's seen. She's been an icon in the health and fitness industry for many years. Amazing, just background in all of this. So we're going to hear a little bit about that and just what her experience was. So thank you, Shauna, for joining me this morning.
I'm an icon. I'm going to just live here with you right now. My kids don't even appreciate anything. They're 2 years old. And so to be called an icon this morning is fantastic. Yay. Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes,
this is great.
You are so welcome.
Yay.
So let's just hear like what your background is in the health and fitness industry. Just love to, I know probably just a little bit of the surface, but if we want to dive into it, let's just get right into it.
Yeah. So I am a boundaries coach and also a behavioral coach.
Amazing.
So what I deal with is I go into people's homes and just places where they are living and maintaining their life, wherever it is, and I look at their behaviors because usually people come to me for one reason and they want to heal or deal with that one reason, and it's never the reason. It's always something deeper.
Yes.
And so they invite me in, but then they hate me, and then they love me. And, it's kind of that balance. So my background is I grew up as a really heavy kid. My dad is Lou Ferrigno. He's a bodybuilder and an actor. And I was never shamed in my home. Because I was gaining weight a lot. But I gained weight because my dad went back into bodybuilding when I was about 12 years old. And overnight, my house became a business. So I started feeling as though I was losing my dad to going to the gym and eating healthy and maintaining his weight. And so what did I do? I did the opposite. I was like, F that healthy food, all that. They always had healthy food at the table for me, but it became so intense that
like resented that.
Completely resented that.
Yeah.
And so I thought anything that went in my mouth that nobody saw didn't exist. So what I would do is I would tell my mom, there was hunger drives at school. So I would grab the Doritos, the Cheetos, all of that, processed food, and I would tuck it under my bed upstairs, and I would secretly eat. However, everyone did know that I was eating because it wasn't a secret because I was gaining so much weight. So by the time I was 13, I was like a size 30, waist 38, men's, and I was really shamed. And people, parents of kids, would be like, what does your parents think? Like, how can you be so fat and ugly? Like, parents of my friends just shaming me. I grew up in LA, of course, so there's that stigma. But so finally, I had to make peace with the fact that I was only hurting myself. And then once I did, I went to my dad, and he was like, let me help you. But I will say one thing, and this is what I work on with thousands of clients that I've had in my life, is if you do have a child, or if you be careful about the way you speak about yourself because you're listening.
Yes.
That's my biggest thing in life. And also be careful what you say about yourself in front of your children because they're listening, or to your children. Because if my parents would have shamed me, I probably would have still been on this roller coaster. They opened I have chills, but I could talk about this all day, but they opened me up and embraced me and was like, okay, and had to educate me because he's like, what I'm doing necessarily isn't the healthiest for your body.
Right,
He was 325 pounds and 2% body fat. So if I was living with Godzilla, but he was trying to provide and build what he could with the career because he had to stop competing when he did the Hulk series.
Okay.
So he still had that dream, but me and my brothers didn't understand. So anyway, that's what I do with my life is I go in and I just, it first started with, and I wrote a book called The Reset Plan. So I help people reset their lives. You can't necessarily change. And I deal with a lot of trauma. So one perfect example of when it finally clicked for me that it's not about six-pack abs, because I had those. I had all of that, because I went the opposite way. I went from heavy to like really thin, working out all the time. So I had a client that came in, and we were working together for a few months. And he was not losing any weight. And he was about 368 pounds and 5'11". So imagine. And so he was in the gym with me, and he's working out, and we're doing great. And finally, after a few months, I was like, what's going on? You're not losing any weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I'm eating broccoli and chicken and everything good. And I'm like, no, you're lying. You're lying to me. And you're lying to yourself. So I want you to come back, which is what most trainers don't do. They just want to take your money. I'm not saying well, I did say most. A lot of the people I've encountered, my opinion. So I was like, you're wasting my time and your time. Come back when you want to get honest.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I don't know if he was going to come back. Yeah. Comes back a month later and says, I'm gay. And I said, oh, okay. He says, I've never told anybody that before, but I eat to suppress my sexuality because my parents are very religious and they don't believe in homosexuality. And I said, but do you think they love you? And he said, yeah. And he said, well, when you're ready, we'll work together and let's get honest because you're only as sick as your secrets, right? And you're making yourself sick by being this heavy and you're going to die if you keep this path. So we worked together. He told his parents. His parents were like, we don't love that, but we love you.
Yes.
And he transformed his life completely, lost 140 pounds, like has maintained it. So I have stories like that forever, but that is what I do with my life is behavior. I deal with just clients that come with lots of trauma and need to get unstuck. Yes. And I tell everybody, it's not this fantasy of Instagram. It's not this fantasy of social media BS, right? It's getting to your highest and best. Yeah. What is your high? What do you want, right? It's as simple as maybe you won't have a private jet for the rest of your life, but let's get to business class if you want to get there. You know what I mean? Or, take a photo, not of Britney Spears or somebody with this body that you imagine you want to have, but at a time that you were the happiest in your life because it starts from the inside out.
Totally.
So anyway, when I came to BeBalanced and I learned I just had my twins, it was about a year and a half, about 6 months ago, 5 months, 4 months ago. I know this has changed my life so much, I will be honest. No, it really has because I'm a big believer in knowing what I know, but then being a student. And I love that. So when I heard about you guys, I could not lose that weight with the babies. I gained a lot of weight and I was walking and I was moving and I was just so set in the cycle of, being a mom and, and I used to laugh at people, not laugh at people, but I used to laugh because I used to be like, you had your kid 2 years ago. Like, why is that weight not off? And then I'm like, who am I right now? I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how dare I have a judgment on anything because I could not get this weight off. I couldn't. And it wasn't even about the weight, right? It's about how I felt. And it's about me getting out there and saying, I'm living my best life, but I'm so stuck. I need a way to get unstuck. So when I came to BeBalanced, and then and I lost 22 pounds and I'm good at where I am now. Like I don't need to I needed to reset that with BeBalanced. And it's been a great program for me. Gosh. So did I answer more and enough sorry, I could talk all day. I'm very passionate, but
I love it.
But I'm very passionate about BeBalanced now as well. So,
well, thank you. No, that was fantastic. And just like hearing what you've all been through, it's just like you've overcome so much and obviously just helps you with all of your clients on a day-to-day basis, just be able to relate and just help them because you're like, hey, if I can break through this, you can too. And that's just so important that you have that personal experience that you've gone through. So
and it was really cool too because for so long I had kept my fitness up, right? But then with the twins, it really set me off track. So it was really great to be a student again, and again having more empathy, right? And having more of like, I just feel like I'm at a dead end and all that, and then having a program like BeBalanced to just reset me because I wrote the book before I had babies, and for me having children just is completely different world from what I'm used to. So it's cool. It's the next stage of where I'm going.
I love it.
Yeah.
And being in the industry, you've probably seen all of the diets and plans and all of the craziness that has been out there. This shake and this bar and, don't eat cabbage and eat this all protein and grapefruit. The grapefruit diet, all of the crazy fad things that have been out there. So how do you compare BeBalanced to all of the other things that you've seen in your career?
Well, it's hormones, right? But it's also natural hormones, right? Everyone's right now into Wegovy and this Ozempic. And let me tell you something. I can't imagine what these humans are going to look like by the time they're 40, 50, 60 years old, Like what what it does to your body.
Internally,
It's not, right.
yeah.
I won't even eat canola oil because it literally doesn't know how to process in your body. And that's just oil. And I have a friend of mine that cleans his car engines with canola oil. So, and we're putting that in our body because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Society is trying to make us heavy, right? This is a sick business. This isn't a health business,
So
right?
true.
And so it's not pretty, it's not perfect, but with BeBalanced, what I loved about it is that, you know, you gave me tools so that, you know, you eat certain things. It was controlling the controllable, and I had to be so mindful. And I will say the first few days, I know people look at it and they're like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and you feel deprivation because diets are meant to fail, right? But this isn't a diet. This is a lifestyle hormone reset.
Yes.
And so it's in phases, right? Which I enjoyed. Phase 1 was eating all the fats, so that it wouldn't take from when you are depleting, you know, more calories. It's not taking from your muscle, which is important, which everyone wants to stop eating, and then but it takes from your muscle, and then you have to rebuild that muscle, and all you do is just gain the weight back because you can't maintain that unless you want to starve. So it was great for me because I could do the phases, and I told you one of my secrets is implementing what I do is, you know, I became so mindless with eating because my kids would have little mac and cheese here or French fries that weren't done. I swear they do eat healthy. However, you know, there's just days where I'm like, you just have that. Or like little things or things that
like
I was
yogurt
craving.
or apple, just whatever they're eating during the day.
But it's like, I'll eat it because I don't want to waste. Or so I started putting it in a bowl, or even like a Snickers bar that I was craving that I didn't open, but I put that in a bowl. So by the end of the day, I had like over 1,000 calories that I didn't even want to start with, you know? But then I would look at the bowl and be like, oh, I controlled what went in my mouth because I have a lot of other things that's going on in my life that I feel out of control with. And the first thing I tend to do is go to food.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people do. Alcohol, food, that, you know. So I always say you're not 350 pounds because you like to eat. You're not an alcoholic because you like to drink. There's something else going on inside. So again, BeBalanced has been so great because the first few days, though, with the sugar detox was crazy. I didn't realize how much sugar I was taking in of what they sneak in our food. And I tell people, it's not your fault. It's the industry wanting to make money. It's all the stuff inside the shelves. You know, shop around the perimeter at grocery stores. That's where the healthy things are. So when I was looking at the ingredients, and, you know, I try to always look at labels. Most people don't. And then they don't even know what the words mean. So I'm like, try to just go with the first 5 words. And BeBalanced was great because it was natural. It was healthy. It wasn't a bar saturated with things that you're like, how do I even pronounce that, let alone spell that? So that was fantastic. And then that was 4 weeks. Right?
4 weeks.
Phase 2. And then you start implementing things back in. Like I still haven't gone back to milk. Almond milk I have, but I bloat myself. So it really, everybody's so different.
Yes.
And every stage in your life with your body is different. But the hormones, I don't know what's in that, but I know it's healthy. But man, the sprays, the consistency, it was great. And I lost it, but I feel good.
Yes.
And I feel really rebalanced. So I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan because I don't do things. I watched people watch me in the beginning of this whole process of starting BeBalanced, and they're like, are you hungry? Like, what's, and I'm like, no, I'm detoxing, actually. You know, I have a headache, or, you know, I don't feel really well for the first 2 days. But I know, like, we had a moment with a person that we were talking to, and I just knew she needed this after I did it. I was like, oh, gosh, say yes, say yes. And she wasn't ready, which is fine. But I know what it can do for people that feel so stuck.
Yes.
And so I'm a huge fan. And I love it. And I've been maintaining it, you know? So it's great. And I feel like you can always go back to it.
Definitely.
And do it again if everyone's on a different path in their life, you know, and things happen, things come up. But I will say, if you're feeling out of control in your life, you need a reset, you're feeling stuck, you know, start going back to the fundamentals of food. And that's what BeBalanced really does implement. So.
That's awesome. No, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love hearing, because you're a busy mom, you work full time, you're raising your babies, and you made this a priority for yourself. You put yourself first to do this so you could show up better for your clients, show up better for your kids, for your husband. And I just love hearing that it's just like anybody can do it. Like you're working, you got the kids, and you made it through. It's not impossible. So I just want to like stress that to our listeners and our viewers, that just because you are a busy mom or you're a business owner, you're working full time, it is a possible plan to do, even though it may feel impossible at first. But Shanna's done it. A bunch of our other clients have gone through it who just, are the most busy people I've ever met in my life, but they make it happen. And it's just,
but sorry to interrupt, it's more reason to do it.
Exactly.
Because when you are busy, your food, you don't know what's going on with your food. Meal prepping is way cheaper. You know what's in it. Get a friend. Meal prep on Sundays instead. Have a glass of wine while you're probably not in the program, but or phase 3. Don't deprive yourself.
Right.
But phase 2, you do have to be
Commit.
real strict and commit. But then after that, there's a life after that. So people think, what do I have to do? But you're gonna feel so good.
Yes.
Do you know what it's like to go into my closet now? Forget the weight, but like, look at my clothes again and say, I don't have to spend 40 minutes trying to figure out. And then I'm all upset when I go into into wherever I need to go to because it doesn't fit. It's like, it's the one less thing to think about. So awesome. And I just have tons of healthy food in the fridge. It's supply and demand. So if you've got supply that are healthy things in your fridge, you're going to want to eat it.
Exactly. Set yourself up for success.
So it's more than, just do it. Everybody just do it. I'm telling you, just do it.
Yes.
I'm serious about it.
That's awesome. So worth it. Like the weight loss, of course, but your energy and just like sleep and all of the things that we see. Just,
Can I get a little real on here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had not been able to see my vagina for like a year and a half. That's a muscle. To me, your vagina, it's a very great thing to have.
Yeah.
But because I had so much visceral fat and belly fat, I couldn't see it. And so I wanted to do this for that purpose. And because I want to see all my parts. And I think it's important when we are clear about our bodies that we can engage them all. Like now my core just for a healthier, and you don't have to run a bunch. And the nice thing also, people that don't like to work out per se, like run and do 40 minutes of cardio all the time. You don't in the first 4 weeks. Right. It allows you to just eat healthy. Yeah. Take walks.
Baby steps.
Healthy. But you don't have to get on the elliptical for 45 minutes and starve yourself. It's none of that.
Exactly.
Which is nice. It compartmentalize as well.
It definitely does. I know we've talked about it before. It's like these other plans. It's like, okay, you have to eat this. You have to lift weights for an hour and do your 40 minutes of cardio. And it's like, okay, that's just unrealistic. This is a very realistic, like, okay, you eat 4 times throughout the day. You have your breakfast, your lunch, your snack, your dinner. We can all do that. Like, that's just definitely.
And it's good food. Yeah. You're making it.
Yeah. So, no, that's awesome. And so just talking with you has just been amazing. But I also do want to introduce Shanna as our very new wellness coach to BeBalanced Pismo Beach. So Shanna will be joining our team. And if you love what you hear, which I know I do, I want to work with her. I would love for her to be my coach. But if you are interested in working with her, going through the BeBalanced program, definitely reach out to us. She would love to meet you. We'd all love to meet you. Look at our website at www.BeBalancedCenters.com or reach out to us over the phone, 805-409-9702. We are so grateful for all of you who have already come through the program. We are excited to meet all of the new listeners and viewers. So as you are listening or watching, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're always putting out content of just client testimonials, tips and tricks for healthy lifestyle, and Shanna will definitely be back. She's going to be an ongoing guest, so make sure to watch out for that. But thank you very, very much for watching or listening today, and I hope you have a good one.